Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're all well. We've all had a good trading week, and today is Saturday, the 13th of June. Of course, the markets closed yesterday, Friday. Just having a look quickly at my verification account for FTMO. You can see that the balance curve is a little bit messy. I managed to get the balance up to 103,500 or something like that. It's not actually here, it was equity, sorry, not balance. And then I took a few trades which ended up not hitting stop loss, but the stop loss was moved to just beyond break even, and two of the stop losses were being trailed behind the price, and they were hit overnight. So that's fine. I mean, it's made the max daily loss a bit higher than I wanted it to go, but whatever, it happens. Obviously I managed to recover back up again to close out on Friday with just a over 1% gain on the account, which is absolutely fine. Am I annoyed that I've lost, potentially, or left on the table, potentially 2.5%? Not really, because that's just how trading goes. These kind of things happen, losses do happen, and it's just a part of the game. What really makes you successful is just being able to accept them, move on, and continue doing what you're doing. Did I do anything wrong with my trading? No, I stuck to my plan, I stuck to my strategy. It just so happened that these losses happen. So it's meant that the Friday daily summary is showing as negative. It's just over 0.5%, but that's absolutely fine. Like I say, it was basically negative everything that I'd gained on the 11th, but a couple of the trades kind of turned around and got me back into profit, so that's fine. That's absolutely fine. These things happen, you shouldn't worry about it. There's no point in emotionally trading or trying to grab back all the profits. There's no point in me sitting there on Friday trying to make another 2.5 grand, because that's when things go wrong and that's when things get out of hand. So obviously at the moment, only 2 days in, 2 trading days in, but the statistics are not looking as good as I would like them, which is fine again. It's only 2 days. Excuse me. Still have a couple of trades that I need to journal here, but the main takeaway is that you need to make sure your winning trades are bigger than your losers, and when when you get a streak of losing trades or a couple of losing trades or whatever it is, you need to make sure that your risk is managed. So my risk was managed. I made sure that I wasn't going to lose any more than about 2.5%. I think it was 3% was actually the the max loss that I had on for all the positions. So a couple of them I closed out before it ended up hitting the full stop loss just before the Friday close, and the rest of them were closed in profit. So you can see them here actually. Quite a few different trades that I was taking for Friday, but again, these were trades that I left to basically play out over Friday, and I managed them. I was at my computer managing these trades, so I made sure that come Friday kind of afternoon, I closed them out for profit. So I'm just going to look at the trades in TradingView. So one of the first ones that I took was USD CAD. Yeah, this one, USD Canadian. So what I was looking at on this was a buy, simply because it had broken through this kind of massive downtrend structure that was going on here. It pushed up through this EMA, and it came back and retested this breakout to then basically push it further. Now, come down to the hourly because it's a bit more clear there. So you can see it broke out, retested, and it came up. My entry was kind of up here, which wasn't ideal, but you can see that it did spike up a little bit. I closed it around about here, I think, but I ended up going a little bit further than a profit, which is fine. So I kind of ideally wanted to be in the trade around here. However, I couldn't be at my computer at that time. I think I was busy. I was probably sleeping, to be honest. But Preferably I would get in the trade around here, and then I could exit here or here for a much better kind of profit target. But you know, wow, I don't know why that's so huge. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I suppose I would have been targeting kind of back up into here. I would have probably taken partial profits at 1-to-1 or just this previous high, because it's not really, you know, I mean, looking at this, it's still in a downtrend overall, and it's kind of risky to go against the trend like that. I don't usually do that. But looking at the hourly chart here, you know, we've got this upward structure that's beginning to be created. You know, we've got higher highs, higher lows, and coming down here, you know, it was pushing up. I was thinking it was going to break above this higher high to create another higher high to continue the trend upwards, but you know, it didn't. So came out of this one, came out in profit. For next week, I'll probably be looking to see what happens here, to see if it comes back and retests again and continues higher. I'd like to see it breaking these highs up here before going to the long side, because I think this is probably going to continue down, but you know, who knows. The next one was pound Swiss. This one was much more in line with the overall trend here. You know, you can see it's still down, kind of retraced on the 4-hourly here, and was looking to be pushing downwards. So I entered around about, yeah, I guess it was about here. And what basically happened was it just went sideways. You know, annoyingly, sometimes trades do this. We all like it when they either just go straight into profit, you know, or just go straight away and tell us that we're not right. But whatever, you know, it went sideways. It was in profit, it was out profit, it was in profit, it was out profit. It was just annoying, so I closed it for a tiny little amount of profit, I think. Somewhere down here. I ended up pushing a little bit further actually after I closed. I think I closed it somewhere in here, and then it ended up coming down a little tiny little bit more. But I mean, that's, who cares about that, you know. So this is still looking like a good setup, to be honest. It's not breached this high up here, so it looks like it's going to continue to the downside for next week. This is one I'll be looking at to potentially get back into, you know, because it's just one of these things, you know, the entry may have not been timed well enough. Just like on USD Canadian, I could have got a better entry, and then it's came back to the level again. I could you know, enter the trade there instead of waiting, or instead of entering higher, sorry, just waiting for it to come back a little bit. But I'll wait to see what this does next week, and probably look to trade this. My targets were down here. Initial 1-to-1 targets were just at these previous lows. So what I would normally do is take maybe half of the position off here, move my stop to break even, or just in a little bit of profit, or I would trail the stop loss and let it trail behind the price in case it just, you know, continues on down. So that's that one, and I took a couple of trades on the indices for the last couple of days. You know, this huge kind of breakdown out of structure happened, and everybody was panicking, like, you know, oh no, it's crashing again and stuff like that, and what the, it's only okay. So, you know, everybody was panicking all over YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that, saying, you know, oh, lost so much money because of this and whatever. But, you know, you just stay cool, you trade with the trend, and that's it. You know, you wait for the trend to be completely established. So, I mean, I seen it coming down up here. I didn't really want to get involved too much in that. So, whatever was going on there, you know, because it crashed down, and it could easily have just, you know, came back to here and spiked right back up again. You know, it came here and went right back up. But it didn't, it continued down, it made some lower lows, lower highs, and it kept doing this. So one of the trades that I got in was just there, as you can see, on the 11th. So that was a really decent trade. This one I thought it would just continue down, but of course, it doesn't always go that way, it doesn't always go your way. It's just Forex, you know, so I was thinking, okay, then it's kind of pulled back a little bit. This was just a bit messy, to be honest. I think this was probably a lower, yeah, I suppose somewhere in here, be looking to take that shot, but it's not the greatest, especially not in the smaller time frames. I'm not actually sure what I did with this trade. If I closed it in profit, or closed it in profit, or closed it in a small loss, or if it hit the complete stop loss, I'm not sure. But this was Friday's trade here. Now you can see, we'll go to the 4 hourly. First of all, you can see it came back up and it kind of retested this area that I marked. And this was an area I traded off of previously. But it came back, had a very nice retest and a huge push away from that. Now this was right after the US Open on Friday, I think. This one. Yeah. So basically the US Open came around and it started to kind of push up. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I guess somewhere around here, right? So the US Open pushed the FTSE, it pushed it down a little more, but you know the two kind of tend to correlate a little bit. So it kind of pushed it up a little bit, right up to close to my stop loss. I mean, this was within pips, 1 or 2 pips of my stop loss, which was just crazy. And then it crashed all the way back down again to continue the trend. So this was looking like a pretty decent trend continuation trade here. But again, before the market closed for Friday, I closed this trade around about here, and obviously it continued down a little bit, then it retraced. So that's fine. Same story with the Dow Jones or the US 30, a bit more of a messy chart. But again, with this massive break to the downside, I mean, look at this, just absolutely crazy. People just taking profits and stuff like that. So I'll start with the 4 hour chart here. As you can see, it came down. I took a trade in here, took one in here and one in here, pretty much the same as the UK 100. But you can see it crashed through these couple of previous levels, and then it came back to this level right here. Check that on the daily. You know, you can see a lot of kind of movement around that level. So it came back to here, and it bounced up. You know, it bounced up. Here's the US Open on Friday. Huge candle. Again, this came within pips of my stop loss. So it bounced off this level. I took this trade on the 11th. This was basically the same as the FTSE. I'm not really sure what I did with that trade, if I closed it or when. And then it came back up to the moving average and it fell away. So I mean, I was in this trade about here. In fact, it would have been roughly about somewhere over here. I'm not sure, to be honest. Anyway, it did the same thing. I think it was around about here I was in this trade. It did the same thing. It pushed up after the US Open, then it just melted off again, which was great. So this went into some decent profit. It kind of played around. In fact, I had a couple of trades on this because it played around with this level. It came down here. I took partial profits, moved stops, and then it came back up and took me out for a tiny little amount of profit plus the half the position I closed. And I obviously re-entered here. That's why I've moved it down a little bit. So I've re-entered here to kind of play on that melt off again. So it came back down. It broke that level, which was nice to see. But as we see in the past, it did that before and it came right back up. And again, I think I closed it just at that level again for about a 1-to-1 or just over 1-to-1 gain, and then again it just retraced back up to the entry. So yeah, I mean, I hadn't taken any trades on oil. I've just kind of marked this up a little bit to see what's going to happen with oil. I don't know, to be honest. It's still kind of crashing down, but if we look at the overall trend on the 4 hourly chart, you know, it's still pretty, it's still in a pretty solid uptrend. So I think if I was to be trading oil, I've not really taken any trades, or I don't think I've taken any trades on oil yet, for this account anyway. But if I was going to be trading it, I'd be looking for it to come back up, or maybe even come up to here and test this and push away. But this obviously is looking like it's going slowly, going back up. But we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it, I think. Gold, I mean, wow, gold is just volatile and difficult to trade. You know, I've had a few trades on gold and they've all been losers, so whatever. This would have been a nice winning trade right here had I have held it. Obviously I would have had to bring my stop loss below this level, which I should have done, because as you can see with gold, it spikes all over the place, and it has these huge wicks in it. You know, it's very volatile, so you really have to make sure if you trade gold, you know, you don't trade it with a massive lot size, you don't trade a huge risk of your capital on any single gold trade. Me myself personally, I usually go for 1/4% or 0.5% when I trade gold. And obviously one thing I've learned here is that the stops do have to be quite wide if you're looking to profit on gold. I mean, because this would have been a decent trade, it would have basically hit my target, came up to my targets. But yeah, whatever. Even here, you know, obviously this was a losing trade, but same with that one. But I mean, that came up to this extreme high here, and then it was bouncing at this level, and I thought it was just going to continue up, but not for a bit. Anyway, I'll keep gold in mind, but it's not really something that I'm looking to trade actively at the moment, because it's just kind of, on the hourly chart here, it's kind of ranging, to be honest, and even on the 4-hourly chart, it's just going sideways. Even on the daily chart, and look at that, you know, it's in this huge sideways momentum, which doesn't really make any sense. It's in this massive range, you know, moving kind of between the 1670 and the 1760 level. So whatever, I might wait till that breaks out of this massive ranging channel before I look to trade. I'll just go through another couple of these pairs here. Didn't take any more trades on the USD JPY last week. We can see a trade here that I did take on the 11th that went the wrong way. Again, that happens. And one thing, I think I mentioned this trade in my other video, around about here, I was saying that it's looking good for a short, which it was. You know, it had all the kind of characteristics of what I would look for, especially if you look at this trade here. Had I got in here, that would have been a really nice trade. But it was setting up for a pretty decent short. The only thing that I would be a little bit concerned about is that it did make a new higher high. As you can see, it came up above this level here, whereas this level didn't really breach, you know, these levels. The other kind of clue being that it's above the EMA, you know. So these two things, for me, mean it's more of a risky trade. And I can't remember if it was actually above that on the previous video. But that's just one thing I'm pointing out here, is that it's above there and it's above the EMA. So yeah, same kind of story with USD JPY. So it's, you know, breached up above the EMA and it's breaking out above previous highs. So wait for the trend to be more established. Pound USD, wow. I really wish that this trade here was an actual trade I took, but it wasn't. Because the pound USD, I mean, again, this is one thing that you need to kind of be thinking about with trading. You know, I mean, I'm saying like, wow, I wish I had taken that trade, or I should have held it, or whatever. But this kind of stuff happens all the time, and you can't beat yourself up about it. You can't like, you know, dwell on the past or look at the charts and think, ah, I missed this or I should have done that, because you can just get yourself tied up in knots, and you'll find a way to make yourself feel bad, or push yourself into trading emotionally and stuff like that. So I mean, it's, yeah, okay, I say, oh, I should have taken that trade, but it's something to learn and it's something to be wary of. If you're saying that a lot as well, just notice that and don't let it influence your trading too much. You know, I didn't take this trade simply because I wasn't looking at this chart at the right time. Now, obviously, if I had taken this over here, it would have been a loss. But looking at the overall structure, had I came in, looked at this chart up here, what's that, about 11 AM on the 12th, had I looked at that chart up here, you know, we could see that again, it's breached previous higher highs. But one thing to note is it's not breached the EMA. So again, this would maybe be a bit of a risky trade, but once you can see that it smashed through the previous level here, and even if we went to the 4-hour chart, it's probably retesting some kind of level. Yeah. Okay, I mean, you can kind of say it's retested this level here, because as opposed to it being a line, it would be more like, you know, something like that, and it's put in a retest. So that potentially would have been a trade, and then it would have just melted off straight into profit for a, you know, like a 4% return, or an 8% return if you risk 2%. But yeah, so that was one that I didn't take, and then there were no other trades that I took for Friday. On Sunday, I'll kind of look through all these and clean up the charts, and you know, analyse the pairs again for next week. But these two I marked up just recently to show that they were in a range, and I gave them the flag, the red flag, just to remind myself, you know, don't touch these pairs just now. You can see Swiss franc, JPY has broken out of that range, and it's kind of coming back up to retest. So this potentially could be setting up for a trade. Pound New Zealand is still within the range, so yeah. So yeah, that's it, guys. I mean, the main point of this video, it's probably running on for quite a bit now, but the main point of this video was really to say that, look, you know, I am not I'm not like a magician. I'm not kind of this guru that wins every single trade. Losses do happen, and it's just about how you manage those losses and what you do after them, you know, that counts. If you allow them to affect you too much, you're going to potentially trade out of emotion and out of revenge to try and get all the money back that you've potentially lost. But looking at this, I mean, yeah, okay, it was up to three and a half grand profit, but that was equity, you know. And even if I had have closed those trades and held on to that as like the balance, these other trades happened. They didn't go well, and that's just how it works out, you know. I mean, not that they didn't go well, it's just they didn't obviously go the way that I thought they would, and that's perfectly fine. I stuck to my plan, I stuck to my trading plan, my strategy, I followed it, and you know, again, as I say, it doesn't win all the time. Just like any strategy, any indicator, any EA, you know, you're not going to have 100% gains. And if you do see anyone that's preaching that, you know, one of two things is going to be the case. One, they're just scamming you, or two, okay, yeah, they've had a lot of trades or all their trades are positive, but I bet if you look at the statistics, they will have a huge drawdown, because they'll maybe take a trade and they'll hold it for however long it takes for it to actually go back into profit. So yeah, I mean, the main point being is don't get discouraged. You know, I was more than halfway to the goal here, and then it came back, but that's fine. It's only 2 days in. I have plenty of time to get it back up to where it needs to be. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. Other thing that I'll mention is I've had a lot of people ask me on Instagram and YouTube about my strategy, and to do a more in-depth kind of video, or a more kind of in-depth teaching on my strategy, what I do when I'm trading, and that sort of stuff. I've also had people asking me if I would set up like a Telegram group or something like that where we can chat and you can speak to me. And I've created a couple of channels, so I'll wait and see what I'm going to do with them. I'd like to hear your opinion on that, if you would like that kind of thing, if you'd want to, you know, be able to speak to me or see my trades that I take when I take them live. And I know that a lot of you have asked me for the strategy video, and I'll definitely look to put something together to kind of help those who are struggling to become profitable, to actually achieve that. So let me know what you think about you know, a chat group or something like that. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Hopefully your trading week's gone well, as I say, and all the best for next trading week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.